It is often tough to figure out how to effectively manage your finances, especially when it comes to making wise decisions in the area of giving. On this episode of Let's Talk, we will be discussing how to be smart with money. I am Olujoke Mosako saying welcome and thank you for always watching Let's Talk. My guest is Mr. Victor Ebhotemhen, accounting and tax consultant. Well, before we go into the discussion proper, I would like to remind you that you should please subscribe to DNTWOK on YouTube and press the notification button so that whenever we upload new videos, you'll be the first to watch. So stay with us. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor, for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So, what is money management all about?
Money management is the ability to make money, manage money, as well as multiply money. Three categories. You make money. Most people know how to make money. They can work for money and have it in abundance. But the management and the multiplication becomes a different ball game. You would agree with me that if somebody makes 10,000 naira every month, for example, and is able to manage 6 or 8,000 naira and saves 2,000 naira, he will in future he would be better off than someone who makes 150,000 every month and spends 180,000 naira every month. So what the difference between both parties is not how much they are making, it is how well they are able to manage the money they make and how much they're able to multiply the money they make to be able to survive now and even for the future. That's money management.
So, let's look at the area of savings versus investment. What is your take on that?
These are money. I think saving is a money management skill. Is a money management skill, while investment seems like a money management and multiplication skill. What do I mean by that? Now, most times people will say, don't save, you invest. I have a problem with the banking system because of that. They give you interest rates at ridiculous prices, which is ridiculous. However, for a low income earner, he would first need to cross the hurdle of saving money and then transfer the savings to investment. Now, nobody really outgrows savings. Whether you call it emergency fund, whether you call it saving for the future, whether you call it holding cash for unknown reasons, nobody really would get out of that saving and investment scheme. However, where the problem is where do you save and where do you invest your money into? That is where the problem is, because people think that investment is a Ponzi scheme. These are two different skills. So when I come to them and I say, hey, give me your 10,000 naira, let me multiply it in the next 45 minutes, people can easily jump on it and call it investment.
Like MMI, right?
Meanwhile, what they've done is giving out their money. Even if they get returns, which is usually not returns, at the end of the day, they realize that the returns they get, they most of the time plow it back. And in the next 2-3 months, because it's always not sustainable, it folds up and they go, hey, what happened here? It was always a Ponzi scheme from the beginning. But savings and investment are two money management attributes that need to be learned and transferred from generation to generation. Nobody really outgrows those two.
Okay, in this instance now, could you please give us the kind of savings that you know, or investment rather, that is quite dependable, reliable, and has a long-term effect?
First of all, before I begin to list, am I free to list?
Of course you are. Yes, you are.
Now, I don't work for any of these companies, but they are reliable and they are licensed. So for every company I name, they are reliable, they are licensed, so I can talk about them because they are highly regulated. So that's why I can talk about them. I don't work for them. They didn't send me here. So whatever I say is my own opinion. But before we get into the names and whatever we need to talk about, people really need to start caring about their finances and take responsibility for their finances. I think where we're having problem is that people really don't care about their finances. What they're doing is, if I just wake up now and I say, look, if you pay me 10,000 naira, I can multiply it for you using Forex. There are people who are willing to give to me without asking, what is this guy's social capital? What does he even have the skill? So that is where the problem is. But let's go to the savings. Now, traditionally, you can use the banks for your savings. But here is the trick. Most of the time, because you have the ATM cards, what happens is you can easily walk into a shop or into a store or into a mall and purchase with your card and just walk out. Of course, because you have the money, and money has this psychology around it. Once it's much, you feel like spending. So, however, research has shown that automated savings are more reliable or makes you a bit more disciplined. So what do you need to do? Number one, traditionally, people would say that if you want to have a savings account, you should not have an ATM card to that account. That's traditional. That's one. And you can do that if you want to. It's fine, provided you have the discipline and you're accountable to that system. Also, you have the mini banks that are coming up. I wouldn't want to call them microfinance bank. For example, you have the PiggyVest. The PiggyVest is a digital platform where you save your money either daily, monthly, yearly, or as the case may be, is there. What they do, you set up your system, you set up you set up an account, you log in, and you set up the system that auto debits you on a daily, monthly, or weekly basis, as the case may be, as you want it. Withdrawals are not frequent, except you are on the Flex. The Flex is more of the flexible savings account. Withdrawals are not frequent. I think in PiggyVest you have four withdrawal days that you can either set, but the default is every quarter: 31st of March, 30th of June, 30th of June, 30th of September, and 31st of December. That's the default. However, you are allowed to change it, and when you change, it automatically changes and gives you 1 year. You cannot change it within a period of 1 year. So that is PiggyVest. It allows you save whatever you want to save. It has Investify under it, but I don't think the Investify at the moment, it runs sometimes, but it doesn't run all the time, where you can move your money and save and invest it into agriculture, telecom, as the case may be. I think they will reinvent that later, but it's still part of it, but it's not running at the moment. It was running at a point, but I think for the past 3-6 months, it has not been running. That's one. Number two, you could use the Cowrywise. Cowrywise is a competitor of Cowrywise is a competitor for PiggyVest. They do similar things. They have the normal savings, the monthly, the weekly, as the case may be. Fortunately, it has the dollar investment, where you can automate your dollar investment, where they debit from your Naira account and push it to the dollar investment account, and you can as well get returns. Now, remember, here we are talking about savings. And when I stress savings, I usually do not want to emphasize interest rate, because the interest rates are very minimal. I think PiggyVest just increased the interest rate to 10%. It was 10% before, they took it down to 8%. Now it's back to 10%. And when I say 10%, this is annually. I didn't say 10% daily. 10% on an annual basis. So what you get is that PiggyVest gives you 10% on your savings. It also has the target save. What is target save? Let's say, for example, I want to go to Dubai in January, for example, and I will need probably a 3.4 million between now and January to go to Dubai, maybe for a vacation or whatever. What it allows me to do is to set up an account that is locked, where I can put money on periodic basis, daily, monthly, weekly, as the case may be, to the tune of that amount. And on the date that I have set as my target date, I can withdraw it and use it for whatever I want to use it for.
Okay.
That's the target. So the PiggyVest and the Cowrywise provides a good platform for that. There are some others like the Sumo Trust, the Sumo Trust comes in. I think Zinc have it. I think Alert have it. That's, I think, Investment One branch of Investment One is Zinc. Alert, which is an arm of Wema Bank, trying to create Alert that I think competes with PiggyVest and Cowrywise. And I think, if I can remember, there is the OctoSave. The OctoSave is owned by Page Financials, and there is another one which is the PettySave. All these are saving schemes that are. Why do I always recommend this? Number one, you don't have to go to the bank or do anything and pay. No, it's you can you can get auto debit. So immediately you set it up, it just debits you. So you just wake up in the morning and you've been debited, and you're like, where did it go to? What happened was you have set it up and they are debiting you. If you can keep up that habit, because it is not usually under your control, once you set it up, it's out of your control. You can go and stop it anyway, because it's not usually under your control. There are no emotional decisions to be made. Once you set it up, it's set up. When you wake up, it's debited, you are debited, and you just see your money accumulate.
Okay.
And it helps your saving culture.
All right, so I would like to stop you there and let's go to the next question. Could you please give a detailed explanation on what unnecessary spendings is all about, and why it is easy for people to fall victim of such?
I wouldn't want to be specific on what unnecessary spending is, but when you're spending and the real cost, and I usually tell people the real cost of your spending is not your cash or your bank, the real cost is the opportunity cost. Mm-hmm. If you're spending and you are sacrificing your need or an intended need, then what you have spent money on is unnecessary. If you have, for example, if you earn $1 million or $2 million in a month, and then you want to stay in Lekki or VGC, as the case may be, it's fine. You have the resources. But when you cannot afford it and your children's fees have to suffer for it, then we may begin to wonder. We're not saying rent is unnecessary in this case, but is it what children not going to school for, as the case may be? You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
So why do people fall into the mix of that? Number one is people handle financial matters from emotional perspective. You cannot guess how many people fall into this trap. Everything to them is emotion. And once it's money, it's emotion. I like this thing, it's emotion. I already have a TV set in my house. So if anybody is doing a promo and say, get a TV for 30,000 naira, does that make, it does, I was never planning to get another TV set between now and the end of this year. There was no plan for that. So if a TV set that goes for 150, suddenly the price crashes and it goes for 30,000, and they say save 120,000. Does it make any sense for me to be saved? I was not actually planning to spend 150,000 on anything called TV at the moment. At the moment, the keyword at the moment. If I don't have a TV and I was planning to get a TV, and somebody offers to give me a TV or that goes for 150 for 30,000, that is an advantage for me. I could take advantage of it. But if I didn't have that plan, and then, I love the TV, and I just jump into it. Does it make sense? It doesn't make sense. People fall into that trap, one, because they handle money from emotional perspective. Everything is about emotions. Please, can you give me 2,000 naira? I will pay you back next week. Because please now, they just feel that sense of duty. I don't know what to call it. That sense of duty to give you the 2,000 naira. And trust me, if you know what money entails, you will realize that giving or taking money requires what we call social capital. If you go to a bank, any bank, Nigerian bank, and tell them to give you 2,000 naira now as a loan, it's 2,000 naira. But the documents they will require from you, you will wonder, is it 2,000 naira I want to? That's because while we may think it's small, they need your social capital. They need to be sure that you have the capacity to pay. People usually don't judge that. They just wake up, give me 2,000 naira, and they have a sense of duty to do. The second thing is they want to belong to the Joneses. And again, sometimes it's habits. They just belong. Everybody has this kind of car. Let me get this kind of car without proper planning. This is what is trending at the moment. Let's trend with it. And sometimes there is that social effect of wanting to just belong to a particular crowd, and all this forces us to make financial decisions we don't regret at some point.
Okay, let's quickly go on this break, and when we come back, we continue from there. Please stay with us. just joining us, the program is Let's Talk on DNTWOK. And have been speaking with Mr. Victor Ebhotemhen. He is a consultant, an accountant, and tax consultant. And the topic has been how to be smart with money. So let's continue from where we stopped. Thank you once again, Mr. Victor, for coming on the show. Moving forward, how do you avoid unnecessary spendings at the same time balance giving?
Number one, create a budget. Create a budget. If you don't create a budget, you will bear the responsibility of some people's financial recklessness. You will bear the responsibility. I understand you're saying they're family members, except it's an emergency. Okay, the first thing I usually do, because this Nigeria, people usually call you, like, can you give me 2,000 naira? If you check that 2,000 naira, and if you give to 5 or 10 people like that, we're talking of 10, 20,000. So it's a 2,000 naira that seems cheap to everyone, but it has gone into 20,000, if not more, if you do that. So number one, create a budget. Number two, what exactly is the relationship between you and some of these people? I'll give you an example. If I tell people, if we don't talk regularly and you need 2,000 naira, I don't think I'm the best bet. I'm the next in line to call, except you just want to take advantage. You get what I'm saying?
Sure.
I'm not the next person to call. If we talk regularly and you say you need 2,000 naira, I can understand. Oh, he's my very good friend. We talk regularly. Let me give it. But if we've not talked for the past 1 year, we've never spoken for the past 1 year. We're friends. We probably just say hi, but we've never spoken for the past 1 year. You can't suddenly wake up and say, I need 2,000 naira. Chances are you have a close-knit group of people or friends that you vibe with, that you will call your friends, that you can easily tell. And let's be honest, if you really need the help and they see that you're genuine, you have friends, they would offer to help you. But what usually happens is these people just think, oh, I need 2,000 naira. Who can I call? Oh, Olujoke can afford 2,000 naira. It's not just 2,000 naira. Come on, give me 2,000 naira now. It's just ordinary 2,000 naira. Forgetting that we're probably not in the same circle. You have a circle that you can ask that for. Now, this is very different from if you have a financial need in Nigeria, medical treatment is expensive. You have a financial need and people now go to GoFundMe to seek for help, and everybody starts donating. You need a 10 million naira. There are people who may not have that kind of circle to help them, and I understand that. But if it's 2,000, 3,000, 10,000 within your circle, I think you can raise it. If you can't raise it within your circle, you're probably not so genuine with your circle. You're probably lying, and you've been caught in the process. And you know that, oh, even if you tell them, they won't want to help you, not because you're competing with them, but because they can't figure out, you don't have the social capital to ask for it. And so sometimes they just let you go, and so you look at the top. So if people are not within your circle and they need small amount of money, refer them to their circle, except okay, let's just help them once or twice and move on. After that, no more. But if that is not the case, refer them to their circle. Get a budget. If you're not careful, you will outspend your income. Have a budget for your wants, for your needs, and for your wants, your needs, and your investment and savings. Now, in your wants, have a place you call miscellaneous, or you call giving. Once you have, and under that list, have a priority list of people at the end of every month that you know you can give. It could be your father, it could be your mother, it could be your brother, it could be your sister. In that list, screen out people who you think are financially reckless or who are not accountable. There are people, if you give them 10,000 naira to send to you now, that 10,000 will not get to you. And if you ask them what they did with it, they can't tell you. You can't be financially responsible to such people because they probably handle their money matters emotionally. So screen out those people. Once you get your pay, try to attend to the priority that you have. After that, every other need is postponed to the following month. Sometimes there are people who say, I need something, and they say, okay, I don't have it. And sometimes they get angry. In 3, 4, 5 months, I'm able to meet what they want. And I send it to them, and they're like, I've forgotten. That was when I felt that was when I could give them the money. Otherwise, I would have exceeded my budget.
Okay, now to further to move forward in this aspect of giving, like you said, there are some people that will actually come to you and ask you to loan them a certain amount of money, and that they're going to pay you. They're going to give you a specific time, and at the end of the day, they might even spoil the money by not even giving it to you at the time they ask for, or they said they were going to do that, or they might just be giving you in bits that at the end of the day you will not be able to put it all together to an wholesome amount of money. In this instance, what would you advise people to do?
If someone really needs money and is sincere about it, I'll advise them. If they really need a loan and they are sincere about it, I will advise them to go to the bank. That's what I will advise. If they really need a loan and they know they will keep up with the payments, they will need to go to the bank. You know, this borrowing from friends that people do. Now, this is why it's easier to borrow from friends. Nobody will ask you for anything. Go to the bank and say you want to borrow 5,000 naira. Let us see what they will ask you to bring. They will be sure that you will be sure that you are going to return it. They will tell you the interest rate. But from friends, people can get away with it. You don't borrow friends' money except they have the social capital and they have shown that character to pay. Money can be an influence on people. Trust me, money can be an influence on people. There was a time in this country, a CBN governor specifically said that people take loans from bank to marry second wives.
Yeah, people even take loans from, cooperatives. I'm sorry to cut you. They take money from cooperative to actually fill their closets.
God bless you. To marry, as in to marry second wife, to fill the closet. And you're wondering, really? Why? Once the money comes, people really don't have a plan. When the money comes, the next thing is there must be a voice that says, spend. So if you're not careful, any loan that is used for those kind of things is as good as lost. You can't pay back. So this is the analogy I usually give to people. If I tell you, borrow me 2,000, if you go to the bank and say, borrow me 10 million, the first thing the bank will do is they'll look at your financials and determine, do you have the capacity to pay? Right? For you to have the capacity to pay, you must be generating that level of income. So if I tell you, borrow me 10,000 and my income is only 5,000 in a month, chances are I may not pay, or even if I pay, I'll have to probably be paying 500 naira every month. And I have to be faithfully doing that to survive. Otherwise, it's lost. What we have is there are promises, people don't analyze it, and they just go, hey, you can't do that. And they just take advantage. So this is what we advise people. Sometimes, if you give them some of these conditions, they don't come back. They don't come back. So if they are pretty serious, advise them to go to a bank or go to a cooperative where they know they can be held responsible or held accountable. But if you must borrow friends' money, you must be very sure that he has the character to pay. Otherwise, give only what you have. If they are angry, let them be angry.
What are the other things that you can also put in your money, and in years to come, it will generate more?
Okay, now let's take note. What we're talking about here is not a get rich quick scheme. What we're talking about here is investment, which is for the long term. Now, again, it depends on your risk appetite. For startups, I advise use the mutual funds. Stanbic IBTC Asset Management has that. UBA Capital has that. Investment One has that. I think Mansard has that as well. There are so many. AROM has that. Pension asset management. Coronation Merchant Bank has that. And they are highly regulated, I think, by CBN. They are highly regulated. The rates may be low. ICO has that as well. So the rates may be very low. I think there was a time it was around 12-15%, but now it's around the single digits. It's going up again, I think, with inflation and the exchange rate issues. Now, what it does, it builds up. If you have a low risk appetite, your capital is safe. It builds up your investment. Now, for Forex, you have to have the skill.
Yeah.
It's a high risk investment, and you must have the skill. Same with cryptocurrency. You must have the skill. You must understand the skill. So the people who tell you bring 100K, get 20% every month, you have to begin to ask questions and have the skill. Otherwise, we run into a whole lot of things.
So once again, I would like to say thank you to you, Mr. Victor Ebhotemhen. It's been wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you, Olujoke. Thank you. It was nice being with you.
And to you out there, I hope you've been able to learn one or two things. And I'll suggest, well, as a woman, you also need to be smart with your money. So if you want to also learn further, I would like to just advertise this movie on Netflix, The Smart Money Woman. I think it will be good for you to go watch it and learn how to be smart with your money. Yes, it's good to give, it's good to help people, but you also need to be smart with it.